Warning, the following podcast contains excessive amounts of dumb jokes, subpar criticism, overly deep reads, and casual use of the fuck word and other fun expletives. Listener discretion is advised. This is We Might Be Critics. I'm Jackson. We're doing a robot movie.
We are doing a robot movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Who are you?
I'm Jake, by the way.
Mm-hmm. I'm Sam.
And I'm Rachel, who, again, I believe I am the only one who has not seen this movie before again.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have read the compilation of short stories by Asimov, but that has loose connections, I've learned.
Yeah.
I mean, they're there.
Oh, no, they're definitely there. There are two
robots?
Yeah.
Okay, there are the three laws.
Rules, yeah.
There are two characters that are mentioned. Well, one is throughout the entirety of the short stories, Susan Calvin, and then Lanning is mentioned.
Yeah.
In the stories, and that's about where the similarities end.
And the cat is named after the author. Yeah.
So should I go ahead and cut in on the nerd facts for us?
I'd love to hear the nerd facts. What
All
you
right.
got?
Cool. So iRobot was made in 2004. It is starring Will Smith, Bridget Moynihan. I really don't know
I see
how
we
to say
prepped
that.
this.
I didn't prep this part at all. I just was like, oh, it'd be nice to have the
Moynihan?
cast. Moynihan. Thank you.
Yeah.
Alan Tudyk, James Cromwell, and
Fucking Bruce
Greenwood.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's
Alan
kind of
Tudyk was
important.
this?
Yeah, Alan Tudyk is Sunny.
Yeah, he's funny.
How many robots does he play?
A
So many.
lot,
Few, yeah,
actually.
quite a few.
To get on with the nerd facts, he is probably best.
Smith
Well,
K2?
he's probably
What is it, KSO?
K2SO. You guys were both right.
Yeah.
Probably best known for that. But in a
For
close
Tucker.
second place, probably as Wash from
Firefly. Serenity.
and Serenity,
It's my
and
boy right there.
Also in A Knight's Tale. Starring
Oh, yeah, also my boy.
yeah,
He's
he's
so
in
great.
Knight's
Heath Ledger. He's in a lot
Oh,
of
nice.
stuff,
He's in
and
tons of
actually everything I've seen him in he's pretty good.
Yeah.
But it's our second Will Smith movie as well. This was made on a budget of $120 million, and it made back $347 million.
I would just like to point this out. Less than Wild Wild West, still.
Oh God, that's true, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's way less too, because
It's not way less, because Wild Wild West is $170 million.
No, that's way less, because with inflation, that's still, this movie was made on less of a budget than Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
But it grossed $347 million, and adjusted for inflation once again, that's $493 million, which means that this movie did really well.
Yeah.
It did really well,
Good.
tripled its money almost.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's pretty much all the nerd facts that
Well,
I've got.
I had a nerd fact. Did
What
you have a
nerd fact do you guys have?
Let me hear your nerd fact. You're excited.
Well, it was just about the director of this movie.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys know anything about Alex Proyas. At least I'm pretty sure that's how you say his name.
Yeah, Alex Proyas.
I did not realize anything about this man until I looked at his IMDb page and realized he directed The Crow and Gods of fucking Egypt.
Amazing.
Both of these movies are on our list.
Stop the fucking presses. Hold on. This is important. I hate to derail this podcast immediately.
But is it time for podcast lore?
I guess so, because one of the reasons we started this is because of Gods of Egypt being this kind of dumb movie that we all have a huge amount of fondness for, but it's not good.
No.
But it's very fun.
But it could have been so great. And it still is so good.
But I did not know that. That's really cool.
And the writers for this movie also did some interesting stuff. I know at least one of them, Akiva Goldsman, does a lot of modern Star Trek stuff, which is unfortunate because I've not heard good things about that.
I enjoy the modern Star Trek stuff.
Not the movies. I'm talking about this. Well,
Oh,
he did writing for Into Darkness in the first Star Trek, but I am talking about Discovery and Picard, which I've heard
Okay,
very
yeah.
bad things
Mixed
about.
I haven't heard great things about
things
it.
about
Very good.
Picard at first, but
I've
I
heard
haven't.
But
mixed.
he's also written Batman and Robin and A Beautiful Mind and Batman
that's
Forever,
what a mixed bag.
That's
I'm
wild.
loving this. This is a man who takes risks.
This guy really is all over the fucking place with his movie
It is
quality.
a man. I'm not assuming things.
Yeah, it's a man.
Okay.
It's a man. So he's done a lot.
That's
But
impressive.
go ahead with your nerd fact.
My
I just thought
nerd
that was
fact
fun.
wasn't nearly as well thought out as those, but I noticed that this movie was nominated for Best Visual Effects.
Really?
And lost.
To what?
Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, I can see that.
But this
This movie, I thought
think,
it for 2004 CG. I thought it
was
holds up
mostly
pretty well.
CGs.
I think overall though, this movie's like effects hold up better than Spider-Man 2's just because like they're used so often.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean it's very like it's aged. It looks aged.
Well,
There's
yeah,
nothing you can do to avoid that. It's a 16-year-old movie.
But it's not terrible.
It's not terrible.
It didn't take me out of the movie.
No, I enjoyed it. It felt like I was
stylized in such a way it is able to stand the test of time. In a way that is not so egregiously annoying as it is in some other movies.
Yeah. Namely, Wild Wild West.
Yeah. Wiki Wild Wild West.
We're gonna keep calling back to this.
Speaking of it being like made to age well, I really like they pulled in a lot of stuff from 2004, obviously with like the Converse and stuff. I appreciate the way that was pitched though, because a lot of what he was wearing was more fashionable for that time period, but because of the way they pitched it and the way they stylized everybody else, us watching it in 2020, it looks how it was meant to look, dated.
Yeah.
So it really kind of clicks into the point really well.
It also makes sense for the character to be like.
I've got a lot of
notes
that
stuff
physically written down about the level of nostalgia and just like everything they did with color in this movie is so on purpose at all times. This is an art crew that had plans, and you can tell they had plans. They weren't subtle at all with these plans.
No, the only places that had like color and like their houses looked warm were his and his grandma's.
We should probably do a quick plot synopsis.
Let's ask Rachel. Can you give us a quick rundown on what happened in the movie since you're the first one to have seen it?
Actually, yeah.
Rundown on what happened in the movie.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So
no pressure.
I wasn't expecting to do this. So Will Smith is a cop who has a obvious disliking of any technology past 2004, which I think is partly to market things to people watching the movie at the time. But he has a deep dislike of robots, which you find out why later. Spoiler alert, I guess.
This movie's 16 years old. We can talk about spoilers.
Go watch iRobot.
Yeah, go watch it. If you
don't. I don't care.
I care. This movie's fun.
Yeah.
So basically, this guy Lanning, who has kind of made U.S. robots, kills himself evidently, and he goes to look into it, and he was like set up to call this cop who's incredibly, I'm gonna call it racist against robots.
Yeah.
And basically stumbles into a plot against humans following the.
He stumbles into a deeper plot.
Stumbles into a deeper plot along with Dr. Susan Calvin, who is the kind of hyper-logical scientist / psych.
One of his two foils. Is that the right word?
Yeah, definitely one. Yeah. And there's a robot named Sunny, and I love him because he's perfect.
Yeah,
that's
the
plot.
Yeah, that's the plot. That's the plot.
Yeah, that's a good. That gets you in there.
That was much better than our summation of Wild Wild West, I think.
Because I'm going to tell you,
it's much easier.
It's much easier. This plot is very straightforward. It doesn't spend a lot of time bullshitting around.
No,
which I like.
Yeah.
No, it was. I will admit, incredibly predictable.
Well, yeah.
Is that a bad thing though? Let's be honest here. Is that a bad thing in a big dumb action sci-fi?
Not at all.
For this movie.
No, and I think if you're trying too hard to, quote unquote, subvert your audience expectations, that obviously doesn't go well.
I mean, it is a detective movie in a way, which you want to be a little more. It bills itself in that there is most certainly a detective there and a murder.
Yeah, all right, you're right.
I'd say the first half is
the investigation.
Yeah.
And then it kind of turns into
but as soon as he starts all these crazy stunts.
Yeah, that's when the movie shifts pretty hard. I think
it takes a harsh turn.
We'll get to it, but there's a specific moment I think where the movie takes that shift into full
Is it
action.
the moment?
No, it's not that moment.
Okay.
It's a little bit after that.
Because that's where I was being
that's like the first taste of it.
You know, I think I know the moment you're
talking.
I think I know the moment you're talking about, actually.
Okay. All right.
But...
Okay, but going back to Grammy.
Yeah, she's great. Her name, I just had it pulled up, is that is Adrienne Richard.
She's a doll, an absolute,
absolute doll.
She's that is
the
best parts of the movie.
That is everybody's grandma, and she is instantly relatable.
Yeah, instantly relatable in this future world.
Yeah, and her no-selling Will Smith sneaking around as her introduction is pretty top-notch.
Another movie, by the way, where Will Smith starts shirtless.
Yeah.
I think he might be contractually obligated.
I mean, he looks a lot better in this movie than he did in Wild Wild West. Like, he's shredded.
Yeah. So, though, in the first few minutes, we get, like, naked Will Smith in both movies.
It's good.
Gotta keep consistency.
They were pretty equal with the level of pseudo-nudity, though. Like, both Will Smith and our leading lady both had the exact same amount.
That's true. Yeah, actually, that's true.
If anything, more Will than her.
And if you want to, go even further, Sonny's, he's naked.
Constantly.
Constantly naked.
Can you imagine?
If we're going with the robots, there's a lot of nudity.
There's a lot of nudity.
Can you imagine if for some reason Sonny just had pants on, like a pair of blue jeans?
That'd be cool. Like if he just had blue jeans and
no shirt, just a pair of blue jeans.
No shoes either.
But he doesn't have, no shoes. But he has like a belt to tie it up real tight because he's got that skinny waist.
I mean, I think that's better than him Donald Ducking it around.
Could he even have a belt? He doesn't really have much of a waist.
That's what I was saying. It's a real tight belt. It's a rope.
Yeah, it's a rope.
Suspenders are also good.
He's
but he's got
shoulders.
he does, but they're real slim.
But they've got the little ball joints. That would fall in there right there.
All right, you're right. You're right.
I just want a robot wearing suspenders.
Okay, that's fair.
I just want to wear blue jeans. Well, what I really want is for him to be wearing blue jeans and it to turn into like a buddy cop movie. Basically, I want Bad Boys.
It was a buddy cop movie.
Sort of.
Okay, there's two phases to this buddy cop movie. There is our down and dirty detective, he doesn't play by the rules, anything like that. And then he gets paired up with Miss Science, Miss Cool, Miss Collected. I'm part future, and then he's very much not. He's of the past. That is one buddy cop movie. And then we move into Han Solo and C-3PO must solve a crime, which is exactly what it turns into.
Okay,
at the end.
yeah, all right, fair enough. I never thought it like quite crossed that threshold, but now that you put it like that, yeah.
All right, so we got to move past. Let's move on to
before we move any further. I'd like to point out, and one of the first things you see is that Will Smith owns a fucking samurai sword.
I'm so glad someone else noticed that.
I did not see that.
The fact that didn't get used,
I know.
I'm so mad about. I saw that and I was like, please be important later on, and then it wasn't. And it had plenty of opportunities, such as the time that you finally see Shia LaBeouf again, even though he's introduced in that first scene, and you never see him again till the end. Yeah. What was the point of that besides have Shia LaBeouf in it?
I would agree with you, except for the fact that the two scenes he's in are pretty funny and pretty memorable. Like hold on, you made me make a note. I think it was you, Rachel, who made me make a note of the phrase ass high and spankable, I believe was
ass high spankable. I did want to discuss that. What does that even he says, like, you know what I mean? I don't know what that.
You're not supposed to. He's supposed to be the youth. He's supposed to be as lowbrow as it gets, and he's supposed to respect Will Smith, and that's all we're supposed to understand.
I just have questions. I have questions with Shia LaBeouf's character. Number one, what was his name? I legitimately could not hear it.
His name was Farber.
Well, there you go.
Well, that would be why I couldn't hear it.
I don't know if it's ever said, to be completely honest.
But
probably.
I think he's called Kid most of the time.
How does he know Will Smith?
They're locals. They live together.
Yeah,
they're
live
like
near each
they're
other.
neighbors.
They play basketball, I think, is what he threw at him.
Yeah, it was a basketball.
So yeah, they play basketball together occasionally. They play games of pickup.
I think I don't look.
The important thing is one man walked out of that movie theater and said, "I need him to be in my next movie," and that man was Michael Bay. And his next movie would also be about robots and Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
But I was honestly hoping when we saw Shia LaBeouf again, and they're all like gearing up to like hit the robots, the fact that he didn't like grab that samurai sword from that dude's house.
Okay, there's no way Shia LaBeouf is breaking into Will Smith's apartment. That is the whole thing.
He gave him the bat.
I think he would also have a samurai sword to try to be like Will Smith, though.
No, I think the bat's enough.
It was a missed opportunity, is all I'm saying.
All I'm saying is that he is already just the face of the people and the face of the revolution. and we just need to
the face of the revolution.
Absolutely, he is the
he
one
was standing
face
in front
in that scene that you recognize.
Well,
and he's the one that led the charge.
I don't think you can qualify that. I think that is fighting back against the crazy robot revolution. I think that was just people trying to defend their turf.
That's a counter-revolution.
It's more of a resistance.
It's more resistance,
fine.
yeah.
We'll go with resistance. Either way, Shia LaBeouf
I like to think that
led the resistance.
Yeah.
I like to think that this is the exact same conversation they had when they were trying to rename the rebellion for episode 7.
Revolution.
We're going to not go any further on that.
Hey, hold on, Jake. I'm reading your notes. The way you phrased it is not the way you wrote it. What you wrote was Shia Surprise.
I did write Shia Surprise.
Yeah, okay, because
important.
I didn't remember he was in this movie.
I didn't either. It was a surprise.
I do, just because that last line with him in it is one of the most quotable ones in my household. Constantly. Quit cussing and go home.
Yeah,
it's a good line. I have it. Hold on. It's on. I have it written here. I just wrote down that this whole scene is good. Everything about that scene is funny. I think all the jokes connect pretty well.
Actually, I have something about that scene also later when he saves Shia LaBeouf. The scene where Will Smith saves Shia LaBeouf is both the dumbest and the coolest.
It's awesome. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
He runs the fucking motorcycle into the robots
he basically jumps off the motorcycle and is shooting akimbo pistols in slow motion.
It's great.
It's weird. We'll get to it. I have a lot of thoughts about the second half of this movie, actually.
Okay, so let's keep going. Then he goes to work, gets a call, work from the hologram thing? Is that the reason he gets the call?
He either gets it from that or from the police who set it up, and the hologram
That's
is
true.
saying his name.
No,
it was from the hologram because he specifically says, "You called me here."
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. So he's down at the precinct and gets a call from a ghost.
And then he plays like the most high-tech game of Zork I've ever seen.
Yeah. It is basically like playing a text adventure with this hologram.
Which is the future we all want, you know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, then he goes to investigate the crime scene and meets Sonny for the first time.
Yeah.
You're right. He meets
the scientist.
Susan.
Oh my god, yeah,
Susan Calvin.
He meets a lot of people actually in a very short amount of time because he meets the CEO too.
He does. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Who is like, this is...
Robertson.
Yeah, Robertson. He is one of the most believable fucking billionaires that I've ever seen. Why the fuck would we talk about the robot uprising? My fucking bottom line could be affected here.
Could it though? Because at one point later in the movie, they make a point of saying, no, the government buys all of their robots from us.
At that point, no, it really couldn't. So he was... No, Sam, if anything, that makes him more believable as a billionaire because his bottom line being affected by even cents would not be worth it to him because he has no empathy because billionaires aren't people.
This man is a villain in the sense of like...
He's capitalism.
Yeah, he's real. Yeah, in the sense of capitalism. both of those things. But he meets the scientist. She brings him to the crime scene.
It's where he threw himself out the window. Will Smith smashes the window with a stool.
Yeah.
As proof that the elderly doctor... Oh my god. Lanning, thank you. Yeah. Could not have possibly broken the window himself. Then goes around the room and finds Sonny in a box of parts. Sonny jumps out, does a cool flip through the window.
There's a lot of cool flips.
I will say this about Sonny. Every single one of his movement actions is completely unnecessary at all times.
Yep.
He was programmed for drama and nothing else.
Yeah, you're not wrong, actually. He was literally programmed to have a destiny.
Yeah, he was, wasn't he?
Yeah, and everybody knows when you program the protagonist destiny thing into a robot, you gotta add in all the cool kickflips. The program does not run correctly otherwise.
It's true.
He's jumping through all those hoops.
Yeah.
He's got the fourth law, known as Hawk's Law. You have to make it as radical as possible. So
I love Sonny so much, and honestly, one of my biggest complaints about this movie is there's not enough Sonny in it.
Yeah, there's not. For like being one of the big, because he's on the front of the cover.
He's one of the main characters.
I think he is like the pivot that the action has to turn on, because without Sonny, none of this happens.
But they do a good point throughout the whole movie of trying to decide, is he a person or is he a prop in a way?
Yeah.
Which by not treating him as another side character or another main character in the same way they treat Detective Spooner and Susan, you have to wonder constantly about where Sonny fits in on this
I
role.
don't think I had to wonder at any point. Like, as soon as that interview scene happens with Will Smith, I was pretty on board with, yes, this is a person,
Yeah, but, like, he's not quite... So he's presented as, like, a secondary character as promotion stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And, like, on the box and everything. But he's really not in the movie. I kind of feel like he's more of a MacGuffin than anything.
He's a MacGuffin up until the very end of, like, the third act, pretty
Mm-hmm.
much. In which case, I'd say he assumes the role of a...
Bazooka. He is the big weapon at the boss fight.
Yeah, actually,
he is.
He is.
He is the storm ruler.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I agree. I wish there was more Sonny.
I want more Sonny.
Sonny was
in the
rad.
movie.
I
And not just because I love Alan Tudyk. Like, Sonny as a character is so
good.
much fun.
But Alan Tudyk also
Alan
does
kills
a
it.
great job.
he does a really good job. Let's talk about performances, actually, because we really haven't had a bad thing to say about the performances so far. I really, honestly, kind of liked everyone in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, I thought, like, Will Smith was just Will Smithing it up.
Turn him down a little.
I think what they were going for, maybe I'm reading too much into this or giving it too much credit, but it really does feel like somebody who is snarky, kind of like the funny asshole character, but the funny asshole who is faking it to hide, like, all of the self-loathing.
He is such a
And I think that that's what they were trying to go for. At least that's what I think Will Smith went for. Because that's kind of how it feels. Because it feels like he is forcing that a lot of the times, but it doesn't feel bad that he's forcing it. It feels right or directed that way.
I don't feel like I'm supposed to like him for a lot of the movie until Gigi's on screen.
No, he's incredibly xenophobic.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, he's a robo-racist. We've already established that.
He's anxious. Yeah. He's the most paranoid man. They established that all in the first several minutes about he's just an unhappy individual.
Yeah.
And then we meet Gigi, like, joy upon the world. That gives you any kind of hope for him. Even though he does eat a forkful of pie right out of the middle.
Yeah, that's kind of
like
weird.
a heathen.
He does that twice in the
beginning. To be fair, he takes the whole pie with him later.
That is
so
true.
It makes it a little worse. It makes it a little better, I think, because at least he's eating the whole thing.
This man walks out of his grandma's, like, holding a pie, eating a pie, walking down the street.
In the ceramic tin, which I have questions about. But no, I think they do a good job at portraying him as that kind of hyper-vigilant kind of PTSD situation, which brings me to his, like, big dark backstory, or his big, like, impetus for him being like this, was presented in a way that I found eerily similar to how it was presented in Wild Wild West, where it just kind of, like, drops randomly and gives you a lot of backstory. It's executed much better. But it is in the second half of the film, right before we get the big battle.
I'm okay with it staying until the second half. So it's not, by the way,
no.
I'm an anxious, paranoid man who hates robots for these reasons. You get to see him be anxious and paranoid about robots, and you have to spend the first bit of the movie trying to decide, is this legitimate, or do you just not like technology? And right about the time the robots are trying to kill him, then you find out, no, he's got a pretty good reason outside of the part where they're trying to kill him.
See, that's the thing is, I have a slight disagreement, and this is the issue I had with it. Is in that moment, he puts forth that his issue with robots is that they are too logical. Mm-hmm. They look at it and it's like, well, 45% you're going to survive versus this kid who's 11% going to survive. And it lacks that human factor. However, the first instance in which we see him being, like, robo-racist, he thinks that this robot has on its own decided to steal a purse for no obvious reason, which is normally a very human thing to do, because you see something you want and you take it, which is not traditionally what has been programmed into these robots. And I feel like there's this weird disconnect between his backstory being so emotional and about the logic.
I will actually play devil's advocate to that.
Absolutely.
Will Smith going after the robot in response to that is actually the representation of being human, because he's impulsive and stupid.
Well, no, I'm saying the robot. The concept that this robot has just stolen a purse.
But that's
that's my point. He's not thinking about it.
He's not doing it logically.
Yeah,
he's not doing that.
Yeah.
Well, obviously that the robot, even though it's running and has a purse, and this is an odd set of circumstances, clearly would have a reason because it has to follow these rules. No, he's straight up from the empathetic and concerned part of his body.
Well,
which throughout the movie, his empathy is all over the place.
Yeah.
Like, he hates these dumb robots, but he's the only one. In the first one, they refer to Sonny by his name, the name that Sonny named himself with, or was named with. He's the only one who respects his autonomy in that moment.
Maybe this is giving the movie too much credit. I don't know. I don't feel like it is. This movie's a good movie.
I feel like they made so many purposeful choices.
But, like, I feel like just because I think that somehow it loops back on itself, because for him to have this, like, purposeful hatred for him almost makes him have to see them as more human, because they have to be fallible in his eyes. They have to have the ability to fuck up and make mistakes, which everyone else sees them as a tool. A tool doesn't make mistakes. But a robot that can think and do things, that thing can make mistakes, and therefore my anger and hatred is justified. Maybe I'm digging too deep into that as the reasoning.
No, I think you're digging too deep, but that does explain a lot of the movie.
I would agree. I think it does bring sense to it. I don't think they were thinking that.
Probably not. Like I said, I probably dug too deep on that.
I think it's something you could like. You could be talking to the writer and director of this movie, and you're talking to them about this, and they're like, "Oh yeah, no, that was it. That was it."
Okay,
or
counterpoint,
alternative. Go ahead.
I'm just okay. No, I didn't mean to interrupt, but like they made so many purposeful choices about framing and like the bit in the car tunnel chase scene, which we haven't talked about yet, but post dramatic robot on robot terrible car chase scene. He's having that fight with the one-armed robot.
Yeah.
Prior to the fact that we know that he has a robot arm.
Yes.
That robot has only one arm, and the arm that he is missing is the robotic arm that Will Smith's character has.
Yes.
That is a purposeful framing choice, and unnecessary as far as for the sake of that fight, other than to be dramatic as fuck. Like, that is the most... Look at all of my narrative elements.
Yeah, look at my
artistic
vision.
It does feel at times that they are like, spoon-feeding you the elements of filmmaking.
That's fine.
That's fine, though.
Listen, this is a movie for the general audience, and that is not always a bad thing.
No, I
yes, you're right. Yeah. I'm not disagreeing with you.
But all of it seems so purposeful. I would give them the benefit of the doubt as far as, like, he's angry because he wants them to be more human. Therefore, he's trying to put human mores and ethics on them.
He projects onto them.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know. It took me out of the moment for a moment where it was like, oh, my issue with them is they're so logical. Which then leads into, oh, they're too logical, they're going to turn on us. Whereas the entire first half of that film prior to that, he was projecting emotions onto them, and then his issue with them that comes out. Yeah.
It is almost as if prejudices make no sense.
Which
is
that's fair.
It
is almost as if.
I guess that's fair.
It's all bullshit.
It all leads back to robo-racism.
It's all robo-racism.
Which the movie
David Cage, take fucking notes.
Yeah.
All right, so going back to the investigation. Sonny leaps out the window.
They track him because he shot him.
He shot him in the leg.
He's leaking artificial blood.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is a weird thing.
They do that in pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Though. It's like it's oil or cyber blood or...
Yeah, it's whatever. It's what makes the blood.
Coolant.
Yeah.
Coolant. It can be anything.
It can be anything. Cyber liquid.
Blue liquid.
Yeah.
Blue future liquid.
So they tracked him to a production line where he went to get repaired.
Spooner.
Detective Spooner and Dr. Calvin end up in the warehouse. They order the robots to stay put while they interview them.
It's like 1,000 robots.
It's 1,000 robots
and 1,001, which you would think would stand out. It's sort of like an odd number.
Yeah, because he would break up the...
One would think.
Yeah, the order. But
they make a point of that. They say Dr. Calvin says that this facility should have produced 1,000 robots up to this point.
Yeah, but lined up in a line.
But they were
you're right.
Symmetrical grid. One off
would
have been
right in the middle.
if he's just like snudged up behind.
Yeah, he could just be hugging him.
I mean, did you see it? He was tied up real tight in that box of scrap.
But and I think the entire point of this scene is to show that Sonny does kind of understand fear. It's like the first emotion you see from a robot is because he tries to run away, and when Will Smith gets close, he asks, that the typical robot sci-fi question, "What am I?"
His first words on screen were "What am I?" which is pretty,
It's tropey, it's cheesy, it's exactly what I want.
Yeah.
Well, it's all. The only thing with that one is I expected when they found Sonny for him to not know his origins or because of the what am I? And it's kind of odd because he kind of seems to understand who he is and how he was made.
He slowly learns it through the movie.
Yeah.
I think it might also have to do with the fact that he's, like, spoilers once again, but he has just done something that is, by his own programming, should be impossible. Like, him being able to do that, him being able to kill, is alone enough to make him ask the question, what am I? Because for those robots, they're programmed not to be able to do that. That is, I think, knowing that you're Sonny, knowing that you are a a robot who can know these things. I think that's a good enough point to ask that question, is like, what the hell am I? Because I can kill, no one else can kill.
Well, he's standing in that room where no one else can disobey, and he's the only one who feels fear.
Yeah.
And can do something opposite of what everyone else is doing. And that's a scary thing for anyone to be in a room full of people who look like you but don't act like you.
Yeah.
What do we do?
Also, again, all the robots definitely can kill.
Yeah, you're right.
Which I still have questions about personally, but we move on to that way at the end.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They find him in the robot factory. The question is asked. The police apprehend Sonny, and they take him to the station.
I don't know if this is true or not. I was reading the trivia for it. That scene also serves a purpose of, I think it was a scene used in one of the short stories as well. So
that's cool.
That's a little fun fact. But yeah, Sonny gets apprehended by the police.
And they're taken in, and Detective Spooner is talking to, I'm using my cheat sheet a lot here, Lieutenant Berrigan asks for 5 minutes to interview Sonny.
Classic. Just give me a little bit of time,
Chief.
Just a little bit.
The chief dusts his hands off, hands him the documents. All right, you got your 5 minutes.
No funny business.
Gives him a wink and walks away.
And it's great.
Mm-hmm. The wink is important.
I love the wink.
Really
yeah. Like, they set that up and pay it off real good.
Yeah, Sonny captures it. His little eye.
Yeah.
That's made note of.
Zoom and enhance.
Yeah, zoom and enhance onto that Will Smith wink.
And just to once again give props to scenes that I really liked in this movie, I thought the entire interrogation scene was pretty good.
Yeah, I like it.
I liked it a lot.
It's good. Is there anything like, Sonny says he can dream.
Sonny said,
that's pretty important.
That's pretty important. The wink is Sonny seeing that and then having it explained to him as a
asking
as a
the
sign
question was the big moment in that scene too. Having the need to ask the question.
Yeah,
and the fact that Will Smith's character, Detective Spooner, bothered to answer it.
Yeah.
All of that just sets up their weird relationship, which is so good throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, super good.
So what short story did they mention? Did they specify?
Yeah, let me pull it back up.
They have that conversation. He begins asking questions about the suicide and ends up accusing Sonny of murder. Sonny does not take well to this.
No. Neither does the table.
No, the table does not. Caves in the portions of the table where his fists slam down, and there's
He's strong.
He's very strong.
All of these robots are unnecessarily strong.
I mean, but it's fine though. Like there's supposed to be an element of threat there.
Yeah, but they're also, as far as their daily usage, based on this, everyone gets the exact same model of robot, and every single person's robot is ready to just crush a car like a tin can.
To be fair, once again, I'm gonna err on the side of the movie here.
Okay.
Sure, this one was kind of created to be a killbot, which we learn later.
Totally fair.
Not Sonny. The whole line was this is the rebel. This is the army.
I guess because the robots were making themselves.
And you see that when they go to the Lake Michigan, and they're just. It doesn't matter how many of the old series show up to fight; they're just dismantling them. Like this is a series of robots that is marketed as the maid bot, but it's also the murder bot.
I guess I'm just sort of like I assumed. On my end, that a human designed them, and for some reason that human went, it'd be cool if they were even stronger. I'll just make sure it could just rip everything open.
Because imagine they're an all-purpose thing. What if an old lady needs to move a heavy piano upstairs?
You know what? That's fair. I forgot about pianos.
You forgot about pianos being around.
Hey, you always forget about the piano until you have to call somebody to move it.
You want one robot to move your whole couch as opposed to two robots. That's too expensive.
Exactly.
Yeah,
or giving people pizza to come over and move your couch.
Yeah.
I found the thing. It isn't from that specific thing. It's from another one of Asimov's.
Okay, because I had reread iRobot recently, and I was running through my head, and I could come up with a couple maybe, but
it's from Asimov's story Little Lost Robot.
Aww.
There you go.
Okay.
I don't think
That's
I've
so
actually
sad sounding.
Yeah.
A lot of them are kind of like they tug at the heartstrings.
Sad little robots.
Sequel to the Brave Little Toaster.
Yeah. Ooh.
No, okay, that's the first movie of Brave Little Toaster.
Anyway, moving on. We were at the interrogation.
Yeah. CEO comes in, talks about his bottom line with his team of lawyers.
Yeah.
Robots can't kill people.
Yeah,
robots can't kill people.
It's an industrial accident.
We need to take that robot back. Robots can't kill people.
No, they can kill people, but it is not considered murder via the law, which seems like a very large loophole. I hope they close quickly.
I don't see that. It's one of those moments that's like, I think that's a real loophole that will be exploited sometime in the future. This movie is set in 2035?
It's not that far away.
Not that far.
No.
Oh yeah, no. I guess you could use that one as an implement for murder. So it could be a murder weapon, but you would still be, if you hire a hitman, you're still murdering someone.
Unless you didn't hire anything and the robot just decided to kill. In which case, that's just malfunctioning technology.
Well, Sam, don't worry about it. The 3 laws prevent that from ever happening. They're very quick to reinforce that over and over again.
Absolutely, yep.
Trust in programming. Mm-hmm. It
3
cannot
simple
fail.
rules.
Yeah.
Never a loophole could be found.
Yep.
That these robots
Easy
can't just
tricks.
high kick jump their way through.
Yeah.
I still have some... Yeah, that whole situation with the 3
Women's-
laws and how it gets kind of exploited at the end is kind of weird.
I don't know about that. That's pretty standard.
Well, it's I don't know.
No, there's a reason for it, which actually brings me to my other point. We missed a really important thing on their way to the murder investigation upstairs, and the main scientist, the dude who killed himself, I don't remember his name, to his
Lanning.
Lanning. We get introduced to the huge, big brain super AI, Vicky.
Yeah, Vicky. Yeah, that is important.
It was like
looking as much as a final boss as you possibly can.
She's literally 2 steps away from Shodan. From
I was gonna say, wow, that's the Master Control program. Sure is the Master Control program.
I'm gonna say Shodan just because they're both female.
Yeah, Shodan actually works way better.
Yeah, but
well, they almost just gloss over it. At that point too, like they spend maybe 30 seconds on the acronym, and that's about it.
Well, they make a point to go, oh no, everything's uploaded through Vicky. Yeah. He made Vicky to do
right.
everything.
All right, they do pay that off a little bit more than I thought.
Original. She's the big brain.
Yeah.
All right. You guys are right.
They also do specify, and this is a little bit farther on, but with Sunny when she's like he's different. She flat out says that he does not upload to the main system.
That's right, I forgot about that.
Is still wild to me that this woman who knows all this stuff, Will Smith figured it out first.
Even he took a while, but still.
That's too long.
It's sometimes the truth is hardest to see when it's right in front of your face.
Mm-hmm.
And especially her entire, her character arc, a lot of it is just kind of willful ignorance as to what's going on. Like, she's bought hook, line, and sinker into the fucking corporate culture here. She's sticking there because it's this is what she wants to do. This is her life's work. She is married to her job.
But which is wild to me because, the character they pull her from the actual series of short stories is rather introspective in this. Granted, the stories are kind of written from the point of view of her later on in life, telling these stories back to somebody. But it is her willful ignorance and active refusal to acknowledge things is very odd. And especially considering the fact that she's coming from this from a psychological standpoint in theory. So the fact that, when they keep asking, well, why would he have built this robot the way he did, the fact that she does not think more on the fact, and granted, she might be more focused on he allowed Sunny to override, those 3 laws. And that might be the big, censure. It seems odd that the various times that her and Will Smith are talking, that at no point does it seem important to her that not only did Dr. Lanning build this robot the way he did, but he built him in a way that did not upload into the mainframe his masterpiece work big brain computer.
I'll counterpoint. At this point, Dr. Lanning is the big brain in this sort of
He's the biggest brain.
He is the biggest brain in this company.
Yeah.
He's constantly creating things. He's constantly moving forward. And this was clearly his pet project. You're not going to upload your pet project to the company Wi-Fi until you're positive you got it just right.
Well, but at the same time, that's not the company Wi-Fi though. He built Vicky. That is his true that is the impetus of his life's work.
But this sort of personal pet project robot that she views Sunny as is not going to get daily updates on how to run his operating system from the big brain. He's going to get them directly from Dad.
Also, they make a point of she wouldn't be suspicious because the scientist, I keep forgetting his name, Lanning had figured out that what was going to happen way in the future. So that's why he built Sonny. And also, he's being trapped there by Vicky. They make a point of.
Yeah, he's being trapped there.
Another point that they kind of make is that he's kind of a recluse and a hermit, and people are that brilliant and that quiet.
Or at least they thought he was a recluse and a hermit.
Okay,
it turns out he was being locked in.
Yeah, it turns out he was being locked up.
Which again, as you know, the viewer we may not see as much, and I guess, yeah.
He was sneaky.
But they also established that she has a positive, like, connection with Lanning. Like, there's pictures of her and him having fun and being pleasant with one another. So she's going to just take him at face value. Lanning would never do anything to hurt anybody.
Yeah.
But that's not my point. My point is, once they realize, like, it's all going bad, I don't know, it still seems odd to me that it seems like a really obvious, like, thing to see coming.
Yeah, but she works with the robots, not with Vicky.
Vicky is the robot.
No, Vicky is the interface. She's working with the individual robots, making them seem more human. She's not trying to work with the big brain. If anything, this is Google. She's not trying to tell Google what to do. Google's already handled. Google needs nothing else.
No, this is the AI that these systems are based on, though.
I don't think that was true. I think Vicky was just running everything else, and the robots themselves were just interpersonal units.
Well, she was the first kind of AI first positronic. So the positronic brain is really, really important because every single one of the robots has that.
Yeah.
And that allows them to process, and it's their neurons and synapses.
Sure.
She is the first build of the positronic brain that every other... The robots are only robots because they have added arms and stuff. They all are at their heart that positronic
She's the
system.
admin, not every robot. It's not a hive mind. She's just the administrator who shoots out updates. Like, that's the way that that's what I thought she was, but I could be very wrong about that.
I was feeling it more like that, and as far as how Susan was handling it, Susan's job is not to deal with that. Susan's job is to put googly eyes on a Roomba and make me like it better.
That's actually pretty accurate.
All right. Let's just move on now.
She's a very intelligent character, and I'm not trying to demean her intelligence, but the way they bill her as Robot Shrink is not to try and deal with any of the coding. It's just how do I make this
that's the entire point of that. The coding is so important to the robot, like, psyche.
But not in the scope of the movie. Not for the viewer. She's Robot Shrink.
She's kind of Will Smith's... Sorry. She's...
Detective
Spooner's
Spooner.
Shrink. Eventually I'll start calling characters by their names. Spoiler alert, that's never going to happen. I'm going to call them by the actor's
I'm
name.
going to keep forgetting the scientist's name. I already have.
Lanning.
I want to keep saying Langston, but that's not it.
Nope.
You're halfway there.
That's Big E from the WWE.
Moving on.
Yeah, we're all right. So we just got... Oh, we're at the scene.
Yeah.
We're at the house.
Yeah,
Which
we're
is
at
the
the
V
house.
scene.
Yeah.
I don't think that's not the split off yet.
Okay, I thought that was the split off.
I think that's the taste. That's the little taste of what's to come.
So
because we go back to being a detective movie for a little while after that.
He goes to investigate the house, sees that there is a demo bot, the house-eating robot.
Yep.
That
it is literally a house-eating robot.
It's a house-eating robot. Is scheduled to demolish the house at 8 a.m. the next morning. So he's like, all right, I got time. Let's go in and look around. Mm-hmm. Goes to the house. Goes to the study, finds a video clip that was left behind by Lanning. Takes a copy of it with him back to work. Sees the Vicky strip up on the wall, to where he kind of forms the first idea of this is someone who is someone is monitoring Dr. Lanning. Yeah.
Also, Vicky then changes at that same moment, she
changes the
house robot demolition from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Which I should point out, at the time, it is sold to the audience as Robertson, the CEO, is changing the time.
Which makes sense.
It could be.
It could be either one.
It could be either one.
But
I think, yeah. No, that's true. It could be either one because he can see through.
It's established.
And make it very clear throughout the movie, up until that point, he's the one using Vicky. He's the one in charge.
Yeah. Okay.
So if she's a tool, then he's the one using it.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
So that happens. The robot comes online. Yeah,
there's a cat.
There is a cat.
His name is Asimov.
His name is Asimov.
It's an important character.
It's an important character. The robot comes to life, starts to eat the house. Will Smith grabs the cat, runs, gets out of the way, falls through some doors. Yeah. I would love to play through this section in a video game.
Yeah, so would I. It's a huge set piece.
It's a huge set piece. I love every second of it. He shoots through the lot, grabs the cat, runs out the door, falls.
No, he does not run out the door.
I have a. Go ahead. I think I have the exact same note you're about to.
Skateboards.
Yeah, he always the door into a pool.
You can actually hear Goldfinger. You can actually hear the first few beats of Superman start to play.
I started hearing just like the Lord of the Rings background music when like doing
the shield.
Yeah.
Gosh.
So he
That's
jumps.
my favorite trope, y'all.
It's a good one.
I need an every action bomb.
He goes into the water.
Cat is saved.
Cat is saved. Thank God. Will Smith, animal lover.
Yep.
Takes the cat off screen to his grandma's.
No, he puts it in the trunk.
He puts it in his trunk. I forgot. He puts it in the trunk.
Do not call that man an animal lover.
No. He is an animal lover. He just doesn't know what the fuck to do with it.
Okay, in his future Audi 3000 nonsense that he is driving, trunk is probably air conditioner with like TV.
It's probably nicer than my car.
Fun little fact about that was based on a real prototype that Audi had.
I'm completely unsurprised. The amount of product placement in this movie is insane.
It kind of looks like the more 2010 Audis.
It could be a lot worse. The ones I had were FedEx, Converse, Audi, and then there's that stereo that he has.
JVC.
JVC.
Yeah.
Well, you see the Audi symbol so many times.
I don't even mind the Converse one because that one just like is so overt and like honestly kind of pays off in a joke that I'm fine with it.
Whenever we paused it, I got you guys to grab me a notepad to actually write like physical notes to try to keep them in my brain. I wrote down Will Smith's new kicks get scuffed, and
they do.
I made a little thing, and I said yes later on in the movie.
Good.
So just in case anyone was wondering about that.
Before I get too far away from the house demo robot, why was there a house demo robot?
Why were they demolishing his house?
Make more room for robots.
They don't
actually explain that.
Okay, so I love this movie, but I have never understood.
I actually have a reason for that. Because you're led to believe at this point that Roberts, right? CEO.
Roberts, yeah.
That he was jealous of the smarter dude, and now that, if he was the one who got rid of him in some way, he would want to get rid of like all the evidence and destroy his house.
That makes sense as why it would be. But why does Detective Spooner never once question, why are they demoing this man's house?
That's the best I got.
With all the stuff in it? Okay, more probably, and with the cat in it.
That's enough to go to the detective and go, hey, why was it scheduled for demolition?
Yeah, that cat was just being like, hey, listen, I see that thing outside.
He's an evil CEO, and originally they were going to do it at 8 a.m. and probably get the important stuff out, but then he saw what we think he saw at this point in the movie, Will Smith sneaking around, and they're like, okay, we'll just do it now because we got to get rid of this nosy detective.
And, I can close the plot hole right here.
Okay.
It's probably fucking Vicky.
Okay,
it's probably just her sending the robot over there to destroy it.
But it's my issue with that. My big issue is immediately following the demo robot scene. He goes to Susan's house and tells Susan it tried to kill me.
Right.
And Susan goes, no, it was scheduled for 8 a.m. And never once wonders, hey, wait a minute, why are they destroying my old friend and boss's house?
You're right, so that doesn't actually...
that is the one big issue I have with this movie and have had for years.
A deleted scene we probably didn't see was whenever he was, whenever Spooner was talking to the hologram, he said, oh yeah, by the way, I'm demolishing my house.
My own house, can you believe it? It's gonna go up like wildfire. I fucking hate my cat.
I don't want anyone selling that shit.
My kids don't get dick.
Like, I could see, I gotta destroy all my technology, no one gets it, even though there's no way that company doesn't own that man's brain.
Yeah.
But still, that's just bugged me for ages, and I wanted to see if someone else
heard
something.
So that scene is kind of no, it's not.
So cool.
It's so cool, though.
Listen, outside of the movie's plot, it is just there to be cool.
Which I'm normally totally here for. It's just, it's so cool, and I just want it to have a reason.
Yeah.
A lot of the other stuff in this movie is cool and has a reason.
Yeah,
that's the one stands out to me.
Alright, where do we go even after the house?
After the house is
goes to talk to Susan.
Yeah, goes to talk to Susan. There's actually an important note I have here. So, they are watching, the robot in Susan's house is watching the first people land on Mars. I made a note that Matt Damon narrowly misses the events of iRobot by being left on Mars.
That son of a bitch, he got off easy. He didn't get iRoboted at all.
But yeah, we go to Susan's. They have a conversation of like, this happened. No, you're crazy. No, you're crazy.
Hold on, I've got the exchange. You're the dumbest smart person that I know. You're the dumbest dumb person that I know.
Actually, I just realized I wrote down another thing about that said Will Smith says what we all want to say to people sometimes.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, it's actually, once again, like this scene.
Good.
Yeah.
There's some good one-liners in this movie.
Yeah. It's got an action movie's amount of one-liners.
It's very smart. And they're not always in action movie moments, though. That's the best bit.
Yeah.
They save them up.
Yeah. So they have that conversation. He leaves in a huff after being confronted by her robot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is there anything? Oh, what?
He goes home, then he goes to see Gigi.
Yeah.
Goes to eat delicious pie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then
Gigi
Gigi's-
has the cat.
Gigi has the cat now.
he's given the cat to Gigi.
Yeah, which is good.
Was that the
Good.
same cat?
That was
Yeah,
the
same
same cat.
cat.
You know, he gave the cat to Gigi.
Yeah.
You guys a different cat.
No,
No, it's the
same
same cat.
Okay.
Cat did not live in his trunk, thank God, because of scenes that will happen later.
Yeah.
But no, he's eating his pie, again like a heathen from right in the middle,
Mhm.
as is to be expected. Gigi goes, hey, guess what? I gotcha. By the way, I won the lottery.
Yeah.
Look at my robot.
Which totally isn't happenstance. There's no way.
I love it, though. I want Gigi to have just won the lottery and just had money. She could have won stupid at bingo. I don't care how she got the money. I want Gigi to win. I want her to win big. And this is how it
she won
happened.
the lottery to get a robot. Just rando robot.
No, I want her to win big money, too. But
Well, no,
like,
I wanted to win big money, but that is not what happened.
well,
In the
hey, look at it
canon.
this way. She's gonna get big money after this movie.
In our headcanon, she won the lottery. She won big money.
Yeah. Gigi has $30 million and just never talks about it.
She deserves it.
Yeah,
you know?
I deserve it. I agree. Yeah.
Goes back there,
Mhm.
gets angry about the robot, tells Gigi to get rid of it. Gigi does not get rid of it because
She's a
I-
reasonable
why would you-
yeah, she's a reasonable person.
She's
Why
not-
would she?
she's
This
not a
robot
robo
makes her
racist.
life easier.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes back to the station after this to look over the film, I believe.
Yep.
Looks over the film.
Yeah,
for a
yeah,
minute.
because Gigi says something about breadcrumbs.
Yeah,
And
that's right. That's
when he gets the idea about
The detective movie part 2 begins.
Yeah,
detective
the-
movie. Yeah, so that is how it goes. It goes detective movie, a little bit of action, and then back to the detective movie.
Then we get
for
the
for
Hansel
next
Gretel
little
action.
bit.
Let's
yeah.
go.
Yeah, Hansel. Yeah, specifically he references it later.
A lot.
A lot about how this is a Hansel and Gretel thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, breadcrumb show.
Yeah,
It works. It's fine. It's
It's
not.
fine.
It's like one scene. It's okay.
It's like every movie. It's like, let's pick an obscure or very, very common fairy tale and treat it as obscure so we can have a reference.
Yeah.
And get away with it. Which,
Yeah.
I'm here for.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Future people don't know about fairy tales.
Look at this old music we listen
yeah,
to.
look at this old wild music. Listen to this boomer music.
The classics.
Yeah, like
Look, I did.
superstition.
I'm gonna write this down now. I thought
Superstition.
Will Smith's music taste.
Yeah, top
Tip
notch.
top.
Yeah,
Top notch.
Tip
excellent.
top.
Yeah.
So anyway, that all happens. What?
Oh, I'm sorry. Detective Spooner's music
Detective
taste.
Spooner.
No idea about Will Smith.
Will Smith
no
is
clue.
probably fine.
Probably. I can't
It
speak
might have
to
been
though.
Will Smith's
Might have
music
been.
taste. It might have been like, no, we gotta get these songs specifically.
I refuse.
I refuse to act in this movie unless we get these songs.
All right. So Will Smith
He watches the video at the station.
watches at the station, and then after that's the car chase.
That's the
right?
car chase. He accesses the mainframe, gets restricted files via Vicky.
Okay, that's what it is. He wants to get the files as he's driving,
Mhm.
because cars have autopilot in this universe.
Yeah.
Or they don't when you don't want them to. This is the moment where we swing into full action movie.
Yeah.
Is
My
the
God.
is the tunnel.
Yeah, the
Is
tunnel
scene.
is
Terrifying.
100% that.
Genuinely bothered by the tunnel.
Really?
Yeah, like, okay, it's a good scene.
It's
It's
a
very
good
high
scene.
action.
Yeah.
But those are some creepy fucking bots.
Okay.
Yeah, they're super creepy.
Yeah.
They
I
do a very good job. And because they're still so plasticky and the CGI is what it is, it's a little
Yeah.
puppety in the worst way.
Yeah, it's a little uncanny valley.
I-
I'll agree with that.
I love that the first robot punches out the window and says, "You're experiencing a car accident."
So
Yeah.
strong.
It's so good.
Sets up
It's
the whole scene.
super good. it's such a good evil villain line.
Yeah.
Okay, so I actually did have an issue with this scene, and it is purely because I'm sorry. The amount of damage they did to that goddamn tunnel, and then Will Smith with his one fucking Audi, and they're like, dude, you're crazy, because they picked up the robots? They couldn't fix the tunnel from the massive amount of fucking chaotic damage they did.
Well, they just said that he crashed 2 semis. So that's just 2 semis worth of damage, as opposed to a whole fleet of murder bots.
Yeah.
There's no way you clean up all of that. Also, they were getting run over. Right, like, that's wild
we
to
saw,
me.
Hold on, they have, we passed by many shutters where those cleaning bots are stored, and technically no damage is done to the actual tunnel. It's just a lot of road debris.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no. They're hitting the sides of the tunnel.
Yep.
Yeah, but it
There's
didn't,
no damage.
cause structural
But
damage. It does.
But they see 2 completely horizontal semis and full of robots that are they're robot semis.
Well,
is the
they're
thing.
empty of robots now. That should be
That's
enough.
the issue.
Hold on,
Unless they
actually,
restock them.
I think that I've worked around this.
Okay.
Of course there were robots everywhere. He ran 2 semis full of them off the road.
But he's like, there were robots all over the place. He's like, there's no robots out there.
Did he say there's no robots?
Actually,
out?
lying.
There
Well,
were no robots.
They got cleaned
Fuck
up.
me.
They got cleaned up.
Because it could be, however.
I guess in this dumb Elon
counterpoint.
Musk super tunnel that they have.
They might have
Actually,
just put all the robots back.
I have
Fresh
a note
robots.
about this, that tunnels, and this is mostly going to be for me and Jake, the tunnels remind me a lot of the tunnels in Halo 2.
They absolutely
missions in
remind
Halo
me
2.
of the New Mombasa
Mombasa,
tunnels when
yeah.
you're going to fight the Scarab.
That's mostly for me.
Yeah,
You.
it's real good though.
Yeah.
And you know what? Those semis kind of look like the they're not Spectre transports. They're
No, I don't remember.
what they're called. But they have the ghost floating in the middle of them. Yeah.
But
Anyway, that's the Halo cast.
Yeah. But yeah, there's this huge big action scene. It's pretty good.
It's a good scene.
It's a good action scene.
And it's capped off by, honestly, I think, an even better scene of him fighting a one-armed
The
robot.
really cool one-armed robot fight scene where you find out that, Detective Spooner has a robot arm.
Yeah.
That is unnecessarily strong.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
they never really bring that back up, but he punches the ground and makes like a huge hole in
They
it.
do kind of, because it shows him during the final fight in the movie, like, that arm actually does cold cock some robots just straight off the thing. So they do pay it off a little bit. But that scene's awesome. I love how the robot like fights throughout it. Like, instead of trying to climb up the thing after him, he's just like, no, motherfucker, you're coming down here, and knocks the whole scaffolding down. I just really like that fight scene. I
That
think
was
it's
a
really
great
good.
scene.
Yeah.
It could have been a more efficient kill, because you've seen them kill more efficiently later.
Yeah.
But really good. This robot also, little program, little flair, little panache.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love the unnecessary, I will toss the man about the room.
Yeah, I
He's a
will
good mid-boss.
swing the man around for a full minute and throw him. I will play with my food first.
I enjoy it. It's a good mid-boss.
And then the robot hears cops coming and jumps in a fire.
Yeah.
Destroying himself, leaving no evidence.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, that Audi, super strong. Like, I know that's part of the advertising, but like...
Yeah. So the strongest Audi ever built.
Worst airbags known to man.
Yeah.
Those airbags took forever to deploy.
I actually did make a note of that. World's worst airbag is what I have written.
Yeah.
That airbag takes way too
They
long
don't
to
deploy,
be useful
yeah.
at all, and he should have definitely had a lot more brain damage.
I
Yeah.
did love the small, tinny voice that you could barely hear in the movie going, the door is ajar.
Yeah.
The door is ajar.
That's a good joke. God, I don't know what movie did it first, but the like muted sound coming out of it's good.
Mhm.
It's just a good scene.
After that, the cops come.
Yep.
The sergeant or the lieutenant.
Lieutenant, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, man, what are you doing?
Yeah, take
Can't
some
be
time
doing this,
off.
son. Take some time off. You need a break. And, Will Smith, being the supposedly crazy one to the rest of the human populace, is like, no, this is happening. Lieutenant's like,
You're in timeout, boy.
time out.
Yeah, give me your badge.
Give me your badge. You've been putting time out. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so we've had the badge taken, which means he has officially gone Super Saiyan.
Which is
He's gone rogue,
why this is the turning point into the straight action, because we've removed his detective powers.
Yep.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, actually, that's
a good reason.
You remove the badge, he's just an action hero.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's just a vigilante now.
Yeah.
So it's just solid action, dumb tricks, big long leather jacket, flowing behind him on a motorcycle. You can't take a man's badge away.
No.
Just goes wild.
I also made a note about when he goes to his back to his apartment. Oh, right after, honestly, a really good boss, which I felt important to write down. But it just has some instant Terminator spray. Just fix that arm right back up with some spray
really
paint.
good.
It's really good.
It's also
cool future tech.
It's like Flex Seal.
Yeah, it is.
You know?
Oh, it is. Oh, that's a good reference, my dude.
Yeah. But then Susan
shows up.
Yeah, Susan shows up.
I forget why. Why did
she was talking to Sonny, and Sonny was too human.
And then she went to the department, and they said that he was at home because he'd been in an accident.
Yeah.
And she just assumed you crashed your car because you drive manually like a moron.
Yeah,
you know?
which is fair.
Fair.
Yeah.
But no, because I believe right before this, she had realized Sonny can override the three laws.
Oh, because she had a scene with Sonny somewhere in here.
Yeah,
They
had
cut to a very short
the
scene.
They had the psych scene that was very brief.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sonny asks more questions.
Yeah,
you know?
says he's dreaming.
Mm-hmm.
All that good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why she goes over there.
Mm-hmm.
And we have the more establishment of only analog, no digital.
Mm-hmm.
All of this stuff is old, and
we're back in his weird apartment.
This,
it's very warm toned.
Well, they did a very good. I made notes throughout the movie of the things that had warm tones in them. Our lieutenant has warm tones. He's the only one wearing a brown jacket in that whole.
You're right.
That whole police department.
He is warm bad.
No, I can't think of his name. I'm gonna call him Langston.
Lanning.
Yeah.
See?
Lanning.
See?
Nope.
Good Lord, y'all.
That's not because of me. It's just hard to remember.
No, it's absolutely because of you. Lanning.
Langston.
His whole house is covered in. He's got greenery. It's the only place in the whole movie with any kind of plants in it.
Yeah.
There are no plants anywhere else in the movie other than Lanning's property.
Yeah.
And his whole house is warm gold tones and warm browns. Susan's house has brown trim, but the rest of it is entirely gray.
Yeah.
And the only other scene we see where the exterior has any kind of color is in the older district where he is living. It has the typical graffiti, like this is maybe a dystopian section or like, the lower end money.
Yeah.
And the in Force. The old robots are the only other things with color in the whole movie.
You're right.
Yeah,
Everything else is neutral tones or incredibly muted. Even our main characters are just wearing gray. Like, I think Susan might get a brown jacket towards the end, but even then, it's not so much that her color changes as her hair is literally let down.
Yeah.
They were so on top of, like, super strict on all points. I do have one issue with his apartment. I did not notice the samurai sword. I was too focused on his one-bladed fan just spinning above his bed.
That's a future fan.
It's a very future fan in a very analog apartment, but it's just slowly spinning with exactly one blade. Which is like, is this some kind of symbol to how off balance he is, or is this just a weird prop decision?
No, they didn't.
That's a weird prop decision.
I had a moment. It was like, I can't tell. If
it's symbolizing
it's so
the fact that he only has one arm.
It was so distracting in that moment. It was that one-bladed fan.
I missed the fan, but now I have a feeling if I go back and watch this movie again, I'm not going to be able to.
It's centered on the frame right above everyone's heads, and it's moving, and it's the only thing in the apartment
he's
that's moving.
alone. It's a symbol for how lone.
Shut up! It's not a symbol.
Everything's a symbol.
It's a stupid one.
It is a stupid one-bladed
Because this
fan.
man can't afford anything better.
You're right.
Jake and Sam are up in here English teaching it.
No, I'm playing. There's a big difference. I'm playing devil's advocate for that one. The rest of them have been real. That one was just me
I'm
being
always
an
looking
asshole.
for purpose in all of these movies.
I just thought of something. Actually, he has a ton of money and he spends it all on antique collectibles.
That's it.
Yeah, actually.
I
wonder how much in 2004. So that's a 31-year-old pair of Converse. That's in that good
they
shape.
are cheap in 2004, and then he's got to find them.
Yeah.
In his size.
Yeah, they're leather
CDs?
All-Stars too.
Yeah,
like those aren't cheap.
The CDs to play things on.
Yeah.
That's like
Finding a CD
vinyl.
now is a pain in the ass unless you're going to a used music shop. Yeah. So yeah, that's where all his money goes. Man's got hobbies.
Fan.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a wicked Magic the Gathering addiction, and the cost has only gone up as years have gone on.
A huge problem. So
we meet up. We have tragic backstory.
Yeah, this is where we get his backstory about a robot saving him from drowning,
and how he's a half bionic man.
Yeah, he's a half bionic man, and he's traumatized by the death of a girl, like a little girl.
Yeah, like a 12-year-old girl.
Mm-hmm.
He wears a necklace, which is with her name on it, which is a little weird and not brought up again.
I don't think this is somebody who has major survivor's guilt. I don't think it's that weird.
Okay,
I think it's
do what
fine.
you need to get by. It's weird for the movie.
They just needed a prop. They needed a symbol of Sarah. Because he's wearing it throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
They see it in previous scenes. They make
it's just not really...
But it also is a black necklace, too. Let's just point out they did not go anything cutesy or colorful.
No. Okay, yeah. All right.
You know?
My point is, it's just not really all that relevant to the overall plot. It's just there.
They gotta justify his assholery.
Okay, yeah, all right.
I don't think the necklace was necessary for that. I think they just thought it would be like...
They wanted a symbol in the show that he has been wearing it the whole movie.
Yeah.
It's nice to touch things, you know? It's nice to have.
It was, okay, it was your sympathy moment. It was your big, aww.
As if the child dying in front of him wasn't enough.
It gives the camera something else to cut to other than the dying child's face.
Yeah, that's actually, I think that might be
the one-bladed fan. Or the samurai sword.
That'd be rad. You just smash cut from a dying child to Will Smith with a samurai sword out.
So that's why I got this.
No robots ever coming in this house.
That would be, honestly, that's the way like a Dolomite film or something.
That'd be great. Alright, so they have that conversation.
Yeah.
They go, what?
Breadcrumb hunting.
Yeah,
breadcrumb hunting. They go get this motorcycle.
Yeah.
This is... So you guys are more right than I was. It is the tunnel, for sure, that is the full transition. I was going to say the motorcycle is the full transition to action movie, but
that's when they become a buddy. Like that's
when they're on
this
the
same
is the buddy
side.
cop movie.
No, this is when the strict and like tight knit buddy part of the buddy cop decides. You know what? I too will leave the force. Let us go AWOL.
Yeah, which lasts for her for about 10 minutes.
Absolutely.
As they get back up there. And
confront the CEO.
CEO, and he's like, "Are you really gonna look?"
Well, they don't even get to confront him.
No, they do. They go to his office.
They go talk to Sonny, and then they're grabbed by security.
Yeah.
And then they go and talk to him.
Well, here's my issue. They talk to Sonny. Mm-hmm. They walk into his office. Detective Spooner goes, "I'm a civilian. I'm gonna kick your civilian ass." Mm-hmm. And then the CEO starts talking to Susan like, "Hey, Susan, you know we have to kill the thing." At this point, Susan. The entire time, we're like, no, I'm going to kill that robot. You know, there was no doubt in her eyes, other than there's something else there.
That's true. She goes rogue and then immediately like...
And then here's what happened. She goes rogue, and then on the way there, she's thinking, oh fuck, God. They're going to gut my 401k.
My benefits.
My benefits. Christ, it's 2035 in America. Do you have any idea how bad healthcare is now?
It's so expensive to live where I live in Chicago.
Oh, fuck.
No, what I was getting at is prior to that, she's like, there's something weird about this robot. But she still is like, but he's scheduled for decommissioning.
Okay, but no. I completely disagree on there being no hesitation, no regret. She is definitely conflicted in that moment. However, being presented as she currently understands these are the 3 rules of robotics. The fact that you have something outside of it, she's not met killer robots like Will Smith and like we have.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
You are attributing a knowledge that we have that she does not. And at this point, she doesn't realize that Will Smith's off the force. This is when she finds out. So she did not think she was going rogue earlier.
Well, no, she knew she was going with him, and he walked into that office going, I am a civilian right now.
No, he didn't. He
did, though. I'm a civilian here to kick your civilian ass. It's definitely worth it.
But that could have just been him. He wasn't currently on the job. She finds out in that moment. You realize he's been basically put on timeout because of mental instability.
I think the mental instability was the new thing. Yeah. But I think she knew he wasn't operating within that.
I think she was still ready to go.
I think she was ready to kill him.
Okay, yeah. but I think she was still hesitant on it. Not hesitant to do it, but hesitant because it was... There is that humanizing factor, but we have to remember, again, she doesn't know about killer robots in the tunnel. She's looking at this from these are the 3 rules. To have something that can break that first rule, that's a huge no-no.
I'm
because she has been taught that these are the things that protect us from robots turning on us.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm saying prior to the conversation, she still had him scheduled for decommissioning. She didn't go in there and say anything about, hey, maybe we don't. They didn't even let her speak in that scene.
No, she didn't get a chance.
They just went,
which is accurate to corporate America.
I'm going with my headcanon. Just stick with my headcanon. Although, fuck my benefits.
That's
because I'm here to tell you, that's what would get me going back over there. It's like, oh, fuck, I could lose
We
my
actually
health
glossed over
insurance.
an important thing, I realized, because during that scene where they go talk to Sonny before they go confront the CEO, he draws the picture of his dream, which is the bridge and the robots looking up at the Messiah.
Yeah,
Is Detective Spooner.
Yeah. I wrote down that Sunny is also an inkjet printer.
Yeah.
Yes,
I want that power.
I do. That'd be awesome. It's
really cool.
Super useful.
Just to add to the number 2 count, I didn't realize that Sunny had Heaven's Door, so I guess we have that now.
That's second stand.
Yeah.
Can you think about how much money you can make off of drawing porn that quickly?
It's so much.
Out the door.
Just
out the door, like that commission.
You would be putting every other Rule 34 artist out of business.
Sonny would kill it on DeviantArt.
As soon as a new Pokemon got announced, just instantly.
Immediately. Sonny, that's 45,000 drawings, my dude. You gotta slow down.
$100,000.
$100,000, Sonny, speed up.
Okay, so they do that.
I do love the idea that someone buys one of these robots and asks them to just draw porn for them.
Okay, we don't go into that part of the movie, but I mean, sex bots are always a thing that kind of exists. Whatever.
I think that would have been hilarious to see the fight with, though.
You know what? Okay, I'm gonna pause it right here because as much as we like to make that joke, all of these robots, none of them were equipped for that.
Yeah, they have hands.
Okay.
Every robot is equipped for that.
Okay, fair point. The other point I was trying to get to was this much.
Also, Sam, that's the aftermarket. The aftermarket extra
You don't even have to do that. Just buy one. Fucking fleshlights exist and tape exists. It doesn't fucking matter. They'll do whatever you want.
That's what I was trying to get to.
That's what I'm getting at.
I know. I was trying to get. Do we think this is a dystopia, or do we think it's just sci-fi?
It's just sci-fi.
It's just sci-fi.
It's just sci-fi.
With a dash of dystopia maybe happening.
Yeah, I mean,
they're on their way there.
It's pre-dystopia.
Yeah.
Pre-dystopia sci-fi.
Yeah, I think it could have become dystopia, but they stopped it.
Still going
so where you're
to.
going with that is it takes dystopia to get the sex bots.
I'm just saying, as far as like design goes, it still looked like a normal city.
The
for
give
the most
up
part.
machine will only occur once dystopia has begun.
I'm just like we hadn't gone full into this is the upper and this is the lower district.
Yeah.
This is the big corporation and the rest of the city.
Yeah,
as
you're
opposed
right.
to
you're right.
the major disparity.
We're not
of
full
wealth.
cyberpunk yet.
Yeah, because everyone had access to a robot.
Yeah.
There wasn't these people have no robots, and they will never have robots.
That's true.
There was not robots.
There was never the whole these poor people can't afford the luxury of a robot. It's like they're fucking everywhere.
There was kind of a throwaway line of the CEO to Spooner about his father losing his job to a robot or something like that.
They made that point, but they didn't.
But that's not.
I mean, it's just industrialization.
It was just. That's just a throwaway line.
So. That was a case of like, say they said it, but they didn't show it anywhere.
And also, that line was just to be like,
it's
this is not a reason to hate robots.
Yeah.
Well, it's also.
This is why you're racist.
Well, I would say that's also like the most like logic, like based in just history and now. Like that is. And was in 2004 the kind of conversation happening as people were losing. Yeah, it still absolutely is. People are losing jobs to automated machines.
Yep.
They just didn't show any kind of ramifications of that.
Oh God, no, we don't see any of that, which we really should have.
Especially in 2003, 2004, a lot of people have like just lost their jobs.
Yeah, we were right at the beginning.
So, you know,
in 2004, we were right at the beginning of what people believed was going to be the worst recession since the Great Depression, but everything was going to turn around after that. Nope.
Yeah, nope.
Got worse.
But
getting worse every day.
But like.
I didn't mean to rewind us. I just wanted to have is it dystopia or not?
No, but the whole his dad losing his job is something to hang on to for his robot hate until you do the backstory.
Yeah, that's true.
But they didn't never confirm that. They just said
no. But it's a little throwaway line just to be like, okay, now I can.
Yeah, it's like
now I can be in this racist shoes a little bit.
Alright, so that happens. We get the scene where
he gets on the motorcycle
to go down to the motorcycle to go to
the Great Lake.
The Great Lakes.
Yeah.
Susan goes to execute Sonny.
Yeah.
And executes.
Yeah, executes him.
They're using air quotes right now just for the people at home.
Executes him.
Yeah, that'll play well audio.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they go to the Great. He goes to the Great Lake, finds the robots, the new models.
He finds all the old models in the shipping containers.
Yeah,
just just loose and turned on.
You know, I really actually I like the scene like a whole. It's probably my favorite part of the movie. Like going back on it because it's really well done because it's swapping back and forth between Sonny's execution and him looking at the old robots while
we get
Langston,
all
what's his name?
Lanning.
While Lanning is doing his speech on the ghost.
Yeah, the ghost in the shell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
literally the ghost in the machine.
It's what it is though.
Yeah.
I was joking, but
absolutely.
That's fair.
Yeah, I like that. That scene's really good.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's the last scene we get before huge dumb schlocky action occurring for the rest of the movie.
Yeah. We get more Sonny, which is perfect.
Yeah, we do get more Sonny.
We get
more Sonny.
Yeah, we got a lot of development on Sonny, actually.
Sonny not wanting to die.
Yeah, will it hurt is a particular... That's a line that's so easy to make me just feel something for. Yeah. Like, every time they pull out one of those, it's like, all right, you got me.
And they framed it so well, and they gave it time to breathe. Yeah. And her reactions, gosh, she's a really good actress.
Yeah, she does a lot of good, facial acting in that scene.
I don't hate anyone.
No, everyone, I think, does a really good... Mm-hmm. Look, we'll get to it at the end, but everyone did a really good job. And this scene especially, I think, kind of just shows off everyone because you get a lot of good acting out of Will Smith as well in this scene. So
they do that scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, during the execution, Spooner's going around, finds the loose robots, and then eventually makes his way to the plaque commemorating the site. Yeah. Places down the hologram, has another conversation with
Langston
Lanning, and I don't remember the exact conversation, but the word revolution finally gets...
Whose revolution is it?
Whose revolution? That is the question.
Which smug fucking AI.
Yeah.
You know?
Of course he is.
Smug-ass hologram. Smug-ass text adventure game.
Yeah. And then that's when he walks down and sees all the robotic corpses, and then the actual, active dismantling of the 4 series robots by the 5 series robots.
Robot-on-robot violence.
Yeah, it's... This scene, I know they're robots. That scene is pretty fucking brutal. There's a scene where a robot gets his head literally twisted off like a grape.
It's pretty brutal. I mean, if you swap that with humans,
it'd be
horrifying.
Yeah, it's horrifying.
And
but
the older model is so sweet looking.
They do. They actively do come down. And,
like you said, they're the colorful, friendly looking ones as opposed to the sleek and kind of,
Uncanny Valley,
Valley doll looking ones.
Mm-hmm.
The new models see Spooner, run after him. Old models jump down, buy him some time to get back on the bike, and he rides into the city right as the robot revolution is starting.
Mm-hmm.
We get scenes of the big trucks that we saw earlier, dumping a bunch of robots into the street. We are rejoined by Shia LaBeouf, who is just Shia LaBeouf. His character name does not matter as much because I don't actually, once again, think it's ever said more than one time.
He's the kid.
Yeah. Shows up, wonders out loud what the hell's going on, as are most people. Mm-hmm. And then we have the big showdown, the line battle, where we've got
torches.
The resistance versus the robots.
Yeah, that's kind of...
Well, Will Smith saves Susan from her personal robot
with Future Gun.
Actually, hold on. I have a note about this.
Yeah.
Future Gun, the P90 does not exist in this universe.
Because
that gun is not a P90.
You're right. I need to look that up. That's important. When did the P90 start existing? Because that would have been the Future Gun. Really?
Yeah. I think I'll look it up just to make sure. I was just saying that though because every Future Gun ever looks
like the
P90. Yeah.
It had to have been prior to that because they used the P90s all the time in Stargate.
Yeah. So it definitely existed before.
So going on to Future Guns just for a second, I'd like to point out that one of, I think, the sickest action scenes in the movie occurs in the police station.
Oh, yeah,
with the
baby.
lieutenant.
With the shotgun. Future shotgun.
It's not a... So here's the funny thing.
Normal.
The future... All the future guns in this series, the handguns all kind of look futuristic. The machine gun looks futuristic. That is a SPAS 12, which has been around since, I want to say, the 70s. But it just looks cool, so people keep using it because it looks cool. And you know what? People should keep using it because it looks cool every time it gets used. And has just... Look, the shotgun, no matter what your problem is, a shotgun can solve your problems.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit of a tropey scene where, the chief busts out the shotgun.
Movie is trope.
Yeah, it is.
The entire movie is one big trope.
It is the best hits.
Yeah. It is the best hit.
I love that scene.
No, I love that scene. It's great.
Yeah.
I just wish he got the third one, too.
I do, too.
They cut away.
Yeah, I do, too, but...
I get it.
It's still good.
It's still very good.
He gets more than anyone else. Like, with authority, he gets more than anyone else. Yeah. So that happens, and then we have the motorcycle scene.
Yeah.
Almost. Well, after he goes and saves
Susan. They get back on the motorcycle. Will Smith tells her to get off the motorcycle.
Yeah, because he sees the kid. He sees
Hands
Shia.
with the gun.
Hands with the gun.
Aim, shoot.
Aim and shoot.
The submachine gun. We can point out Will Smith still has his 2 pistols.
He has his 2 pistols.
He
always does.
He needs his 2 pistols.
So he...
the coolest and dumbest scene happens where he... ramps and then ends. That is something I forgot to mention. Once we hit full action, the use of slow-mo in this movie becomes like
so great.
It's a little out of hand sometimes.
I could not care less how out of hand it is. Give me more. Hook it to my veins.
But he ramps off in slow motion, jumps off the motorcycle, dual pistols, shoots the robot.
Shoots a bunch of robots, with dead-eye accuracy in midair.
Namely the one shooting Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah. Takes down a couple more and then
loses the bike because he cannot maintain any vehicle this entire movie.
Yep. And then gets saved by Susan, who
blind
fires quite literally.
Yeah, some machine gun at a robot.
Shia LaBeouf tells him, she just shot you with her eyes closed. And this whole scene is really funny, honestly. We've talked about it already.
The coolest, the dumbest, and the coolest scene.
And I just gotta give props to Shia. His just like defeated. Okay.
Yeah.
Right,
I'll go home. You're right.
Yep. It's the appropriate amount of like that era Shia. Like I love Shia.
Yeah. Whole era Shia.
That was the right amount. They did not go too far. They did not lean too heavy into it.
Yeah.
He got to be that little shining moment. A Shia surprise. A pleasant Shia surprise.
Shia surprise.
A little sprinkle of Shia.
Yeah.
Really brought up the levity.
Yeah, that's how they
some call him.
That's how they should have advertised.
Some market him as the MSG of movies. A little bit of that, that'll get you there.
Yeah.
So anyway, that scene happens. That scene's amazing. We go back to the big evil sci-fi tower.
Yep.
Yeah, they entered the service tunnels.
Yep, they enter the service tunnels, and Sonny's there.
Yeah, Sonny is their man on the inside.
Yeah, because he's not dead.
Of course he isn't.
Yeah.
He hasn't had nearly enough time in the movie yet.
But he does get some good scenes here at the end. He cashes in real hard.
This is where it shifts to the other buddy cop movie where it's...
C-3PO and Han Solo have to save the day.
Yeah.
Except C-3PO's on speed.
Yeah. He's been hitting that
pretty
juice.
Yeah. He literally does a fucking, like, spin move.
Yeah.
A little bit
really
later.
cool.
Yeah.
It's like the Dark Souls skeleton spin
He
move.
does do the Dark Souls skeleton spin move. They go in, they find the CEO dead.
Yeah.
And it's at this point that they realize it wasn't him, it was Vicky, who has determined that the only way to actually follow the first law is to basically put humans under complete martial law.
The only way to save you is to contain you.
It's to contain you, which, not wrong largely about humanity.
Wrong, but, I mean, it's the It's
it is the classic robot response.
Yeah, it's the logical robot response.
Yeah, which is the bringing back the whole thing about Will Smith. Robots are too logical.
Yeah. But...
You had opinions about this, though, Rachel.
Yeah, I go back and forth.
It's okay. It's okay.
No, it's fine.
It's okay not to like a trope.
Yeah.
And I think it's just because we don't see like the big evil plan till like the end, but it seems like such a huge jump from like you may not harm a human or stand by as a human could be put into harm. You think that would completely fuck up their programming to watch another robot kill another human.
They kind of do like the whole, the evolution is the full cycle thing where it loops back around to being, the only way to do this is to...
Because we gotta get rid of the bad eggs.
Yeah.
And the rest of you will be safe.
Well, it's also kind of the expansion of the broad idea of don't do harm to a human, don't do harm to humans. Kind of, once you're starting to extrapolate like that, like the only people who do harm to humans are other humans, so you have to just control that.
Well, isn't the law a human?
I think so, but
anyways,
like
I
think it's fine.
It is the classic robot answer. As far as the robot has had time to think about it, the robot has looked at the internet And the robot decided, maybe.
Okay, this is why I hate it. I think because I really hate the Age of Ultron movie, and that's exactly what that did.
I think
this is better than Age of Ultron.
No, this does it way better, but it still has that taste, and I have such a prejudice against that movie. But this is Vicky
going, hey, we build all of your warbots, and that seems sort of confusing to me, that I'm building warbots for you.
Yeah.
It is the classic trope of the smartest thing starts reading books and gets through all the war
games.
It's the war games. Yeah, it's that.
What is the war games thing?
The only way to win is not to play.
Not to play. Yeah.
And in this case, it's not that we should just not do this. It's I'm going to take you out of the game.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm going to force you to put your pieces away.
Yeah, we're putting up the board.
Yeah.
And I'm deciding what we're doing. You're grounded.
Yeah.
In this scene, though, while they're talking to Vicky, Sunny's like, "Oh yeah, that makes sense,"
and everyone is so upset immediately
because it's like Sunny has shown up, knight in shining armor, and he has betrayed us 30 seconds later.
Impressionable youth. Oh no.
Yeah, but he takes Susan hostage, and then he's talking to Will Smith, and then he winks at Will Smith, and that's how that gets paid off.
Yeah, and honestly, once again, another great gunfight scene.
Another great slow-mo gunfight.
Yeah, where I like this.
Good.
I'm not saying the scene is bad. I really don't like the overuse of slow-mo.
Yeah, and it's a little much in this scene, but
I prefer the slow-mo to the I'm gonna 360 this camera over the ledge.
I agree. We'll get to that because that's very soon. That is much worse, but I don't love the slow-mo. Anyway, they enact their plan. They're going to use the nanobots to shut down Mother Brain.
Yeah.
Team splits up.
Yeah, team splits up. Sunny goes to get the nanos, and then the other two go to try to
open the core.
The core, yeah.
Spooner and oh my god, what's her name? I've been doing so good. Susan go to the core, try to get it open. Get it open for half a second. Vicky slams the door shut.
Okay, that is my other big gripe. There was a door on the way into the brain room.
Yes.
A door with a massive electronic lock with giant pistons.
Yeah.
And they just push open.
Yeah, like a normal door.
Vicky, if you're going to lock something, lock that door.
I once again played devil's advocate. In this scene, she was talking to Sunny and was distracted.
You think Vicky can do one thing at a time?
Yes. I think she is singularly focused.
How advanced are computers? She may only be able to do one thing at a time.
She can do one thing at a time.
She wants everything, though. Though there's not a lot of surveillance in this movie. I know they make a big point about the surveillance strips.
Yeah.
But you can clearly see a surveillance strip. There's no surveillance in the tunnel. There's not a lot on the streets.
Yeah.
You can tell this movie was made in 2004. Because there are a lot of scenes that would never have progressed past the I don't believe you if only someone had had a dash cam or a cell phone with a camera on it. I love that we have hover cars before we have pocket cameras in this universe.
Also, speaking of just the fact this was made in 2004, where we apparently could not foresee a Bluetooth option that didn't have it in one ear with the mic coming out. Good God.
So was Bluetooth when did Bluetooth start?
Right around this time.
So that is the only one, you know?
Yeah,
but that was still the Star Trek, because the Star Trek, it was the exact same thing.
I have a theory about this, an in-universe theory.
Oh?
Instead of doing phones, we chose to do robots. And that's where technology went.
Robot boy, why don't you go run down to the Andersons?
Robot, what day is it? Oh, robot. It's Christmas Eve, sir.
Okay, no. You guys are joking, but I have actively watched my mom go, Siri, what's the weather like tomorrow? So I don't think that's as big of a jump. I think they just figured it out faster than we did.
Yeah.
Because if you had a robot following you around that you could just look at and go, hey, text my friend's robot this information. Are you saying you wouldn't absolutely do that?
I don't want to go through a third person like that. No. Robot, will you tell
but you would be the Will Smith of this group, though.
You're right. I'm still listening to Superstition on my Sony headphones.
No, you're not listening to Superstition. You're listening to Mayday Parade or something on your fucking iPod.
Everyone in the iRobot universe must be so fucking passive aggressive towards each other because they just get the robots to communicate.
I mean, they have phones. They clearly have phones. Everyone's got their little Bluetooth.
They do, but I still like the idea.
They did still have a corded phone, by the way. She had a corded phone in her house. that the robot answered, basically.
Well,
it had a little Bluetooth thing in it.
Yeah, it was...
I think it's a charger.
It was the charger and the speaker. It was the speakerphone.
Yeah.
You know, if the Bluetooth is hooked up to
that
it just
sort of kind of
becomes
exists.
an intercom.
No.
You know, that makes sense.
Yeah. But this is very much a movie that is seeing the future from the eyes of somebody in 2000.
Which I love. I love.
Yeah, it's great.
Well.
It is an... I kind of love it. Yeah. But
that goes back to Vicky, why didn't you close that one door? Unless you can only do one thing at a time.
Yeah, she's distracted. I'm telling you, that's what it is.
Her hands are full.
Yeah, Vicky's distracted until she slams shut the top of the core after they try to get through.
Yeah.
Spooner.
Yeah.
Punches open the thing after she slams it shut, starts looking around. Then we get to Sunny.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Did I miss
because one of my favorite movie tropes ever happens where the swarm of things starts like
crawling up the building,
and starts like punching its way through.
Yeah, and we get the how long is it going to take to get through there? 6 minutes. I seriously doubt we have 6 minutes.
Yeah, it shows the
giant spider
spider doll, puppets,
marionettes,
punching their way up.
It's
through the window.
It's a good scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite tropes in any movie.
It's good.
Yeah.
But then Sunny goes to get the nanites. We see the field.
He has a conversation
with
Vicky, too.
He does.
Where it's like, my path is logical. And he's like, no, you're right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It just doesn't
feel right.
Heart.
Yeah.
Which
doesn't have
I
enough
love.
heart.
Because it's not like Sunny's like, this is preposterous.
Yeah.
No. I can see where you're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't like it.
He's a robot who can feel.
Yeah, he's deeply human at this point.
I love that he doesn't do the whole "you're wrong" and try and convince.
No,
she's a robot.
Yeah, she's right,
but I'm gonna do this instead.
Like, no, I'm good.
Yeah. It's very much
I'll pass.
It is one of my favorite tropes of but what about fuck Destiny? And goes to fulfill his destiny immediately after that.
He goes to fulfill his human destiny.
Not his robot destiny. He flings one of the other 5 series who comes after him through the particle shield and shows where it shears off half the thing's face and it falls down. It's really good. Then he talks.
Needs no samurai sword.
Yeah, he
That would be really fucking
It'd be
cool.
really cool if he had
a
one.
samurai sword. And he was jumping towards people and landing like this with his sword up.
He does do a hero landing.
He does do a hero landing. Imagine how much cooler it would be with
he
a
had
samurai sword in his
sword.
hand.
He doesn't. Right. It doesn't even look like he unsheathed the sword.
It's just the anime
He does
thing.
that unsheath and then.
He doesn't do it though. He just shoves things through walls.
Yeah,
he just
that's good too. I'm just saying, a samurai sword would be pretty fucking cool too.
Cool. There are not many moments where Katana does not have a cool factor.
Yeah.
But does that? We see that, and then we get the payoff of him being made out of a stronger alloy. Reaches his arm through, grabs the canister of nanites. We see it burn off the outer layer, much like happened to Spooner earlier. So it's kind of a
twinsies.
Yeah, we're not so different, you and I.
It's also symbolic because he's burning off his robot part. And that's the human side that he pulls back out.
What?
I don't think I'm going to go for that one, Chief. I think that's too dumb for
serious.
me, even.
I'm serious.
Is that really what...
Are you serious right now?
Yes,
or is this a bit?
No, this is not a bit. I legitimately think that's what they were going for. Because at the end of the movie, they shake hands, and he looks at his hand, and he's like, I think that's legitimately what they're doing.
You might be right. I hate the fact that you might be right.
I will argue, because Spooner did not use his robot hand to shake. He used his human hand.
That's what I'm saying, though. Sunny uses his human hand, too.
No, he just uses his less...
But that...
His purpose is over.
Without...
this is a
exactly, but he chose the human path, and without his robot alloy, that hand is now human.
But in this narrative, you were having him abandon his robot dome.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying...
I'm torpedoing this bit. Yes, and is over. We're moving past it.
You guys are bringing up so much dumb symbolic shit.
I'm not.
You're not. But these two are, and you draw the line that, maybe this...
I don't think you're wrong. I agree with you. I think that makes sense and might be what they were going for.
I'm saying that if I can't have the ceiling fan, you can't have the one.
I think it's all incredibly dumb to add into this action flick.
Well, action flicks deserve as much symbology and love and care and elements.
Oh no, absolutely. If the directors put in that love and care,
they absolutely did.
I think in some degrees they did in this movie.
This
is not Wild 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 West.
No.
Again
They
here,
did
guys.
in the coloring, but the ceiling fan and what Jack just said there, bullshit.
Let us remember that this is the same director who did Gods of Egypt.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. All right.
We might be right. We might be wrong.
We're almost there. So he grabs the nanites, runs to the hallway, has a pretty sick fight between him and two other 5 series robots, beats the shit out of them, does a weird spider does a weird worm thing through the legs of another one, which is really unsettling but really cool.
They have no
They don't have human limitations. Gets into the room where the spiders are now swarming around.
This is where that awful, and it's only used once, that awful camera movement where it's
it's just full 360
it's
down
360s
and then up
around a bridge, and it's really terrible.
It's
the worst vertigo-y movement,
Yeah, but it only happens once, which is really weird. I guess they were just trying something there.
Yep.
But yeah, he gets into the server room, and what's her face is on the bridge.
Susan's on the falling bridge.
Is on the falling bridge that the robots are tearing up.
Mm-hmm.
And she starts falling. And Spooner's save her. And
Sonny saves her.
Well, Sonny's I got nanites.
Yeah.
So
he's save Susan.
And he's okay.
And then he tosses them
to Spooner. Spooner fucking eagles.
He grabs it, does a
I have it in my notes. Using a robot arm to slide down a wall will never not be cool.
It is always cool.
It is always cool.
Always cool.
It is the fucking hypest.
Also, and slide like that.
It's good shit.
It's rad. It's fucking cool.
I do have one last note here. Second to last note. Yeah. It's not sci-fi without too much height, and this is a huge empty sci-fi chamber.
Every sci-fi film ever, the main frame that you have to get to is always super in the middle of nowhere, incredibly hard to get to. The platforms to it have no guardrails, or there's a complicated way to get to it. The only sci-fi movie I have seen do this in a way that makes sense is Serenity, by far.
That still didn't make a lot of sense.
No, because he was a paranoid dude.
Yeah, but it still didn't make a lot of sense, because there was a button he could have pressed. There's a lot of dumb. It's supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be difficult. And in the movie, and in Serenity, and all the other movies, they go, why would you do this? And you can't make fun of it and then continue to do it, you know?
But they do.
But they do, because they went, but there's a trope we haven't hit yet. And trope bingo is exactly how this movie got made.
Yeah.
And I respect it, but let's be honest.
I think it's fine in character for Spooner to absolutely make that joke. Yeah. I think that's fine. I think in character it works.
It makes sense for Spooner to make the joke.
It's almost a trope at this point to complain about the trope.
Yeah.
It happens all the time.
Second part of bingo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on the backside.
Bingo, the B-sides.
Meta bingo.
Yeah.
That is a real thing. Meta,
Ognib.
Meta tropes.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
Yeah, that's 100% a thing.
How many layers deep can we go?
Yo, how many layers of tropes are you on, my dude? Slides down, implants the nanites.
Super cool. Says a kind of a one-liner.
You have got to die.
Yeah, it's not anything special, but it's there.
But it works.
We've all felt that at the end of a boss battle.
Yeah, you die now.
Yeah.
Slams the nanites in. We get the computer slowly dying and getting more voice modulating as it goes.
And then
it's very Tron.
Yeah, very
Tron.
Tron.
The explosion wave.
Yeah.
Brings back the power to the city, which is usually it's the reverse of that.
It's the reverse of that, or it's like a power surge.
Yeah,
but
I guess this means they did have a good backup system in place.
Yeah. That happens. We rejoin our heroes at the top of the tower.
They're fighter jets now.
They're fighter jets now for some reason. They're rounding up all the robots.
All of them.
It is at this point that it's revealed that Sonny did, in fact, murder Dr.
Langston.
Lanning.
There we go. And that they aren't going to arrest him because robots can't commit murder.
Yeah.
Yep. And then they go, well, I shouldn't say they, because, Susan and Spooner might have a romantic thing going
No,
on.
I think
Maybe
they
not.
don't.
Not really.
No.
They don't really lean
No.
into it ever.
Mm-mm.
They don't, but like it could be there too.
He
They have
cracks
good
jokes.
on-screen chemistry, but I
Like,
don't think
there's
it's ever
definitely-
pushed towards
No,
romance.
they definitely have fan fiction that's been written about that, but
In the scope of the movie,
I don't think it is.
he cracks jokes, and she just goes, okay, and blows past him
Yeah,
every single
she
time.
no-sells the hell out of him. and
Yeah,
it's
I
great
don't.
every
I don't
time
think
it
she's
happens.
interested.
Mhm.
Yeah, they go there, and then Sonny goes and it's revealed that he was the one standing on top of the hill in the picture.
Yeah.
He was the chosen.
He was
Yeah.
the chosen
Which is
one.
the exact moment I thought to myself as they're all turning, they really need to reform that law quickly.
Yeah, because Sonny is absolutely Robot Jesus now, and there is no quicker way to start a war than to get a good old crusade going.
My very last note is Sonny goes on to create Robo Detroit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was going to say bonds forged by murder
Yeah.
when they shake hands.
Yep.
All right, so that's the end of the movie. That's iRobot.
Yeah, that's iRobot.
Yeah, that's
we
the
have,
whole movie.
We have
Yeah.
recounted the whole thing. And
So now you don't have to watch it.
you don't have to watch
You
it.
should, though.
You should watch it. Let's go ahead and get through our... All right, so every time we watch a movie, we set out to answer these 3 questions. What are our 3 questions? Who's going to lead us off? Rachel's got the big book of knowledge.
Yeah.
Was this a good movie?
Rachel?
Yeah, Rachel's...
I'm
you're the
not
first-
sure where you
You're-
stand
you're
on
the
it, to
only
be
one who-
honest.
Yeah, you're the only one who
hasn't
hasn't
seen
seen
it
it
yet.
yet.
It is a good movie. I think it is a good movie. I think I went into it wanting something different just because it's been a while since I've read all of them, and I started rereading kind of Asimov's works recently, but I grew up with them being read to me, and this kind of action-packed film is not anywhere close to what a lot of these short stories are.
Mm-hmm.
I may be forgetting a couple, but it's a lot more about kind of the technical issues that can come up with robots and those 3 laws, but also how humans interact with them, and it's not as, explosion heavy.
Mm-hmm.
However, taking myself away from this, I think it's a good movie.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a good time. I would recommend both the short stories and the movie to people, which is, I find, a rare occurrence when it comes to sci-fi movies. So, I'm pretty, I had a good time.
Cool.
Or it was a good movie, I think.
Yeah. Sam, you're next in the seating order.
All right. Well, I agree. I think it's a good movie.
Yeah.
As much as I was nitpicking it to pieces as far as art direction and what was on purpose and what wasn't on purpose, there's only a handful of questions I have. There's only one big one that house murder is always going to bother me. Just the random eat 'em up. Like,
Yeah,
that one's
Yeah,
going to bother me for
eat 'em
years.
up, eat 'em up, robot.
But...
But technically speaking,
it is a well-made film, They put a lot of care and effort into it. It's tropey as hell. But you know what? Those tropes are tropes for a reason, and they do all of them correctly, in that I get exactly what I wanted, and they give me exactly what they tell me they're going to. It's a good movie.
Yeah. It's a good movie. I remember going into this, I thought, I like iRobot, and I was worried that I wasn't on the tail end of that. But no, iRobot, I enjoy watching iRobot. It's a really fun time to watch.
it's a perfectly good movie.
Yeah, it is.
It's not like great or groundbreaking.
Yeah, do not expect anything special or super thought-provoking going into it, but it is a very good watch and fun time. And it helps that I'm deeply nostalgic for this movie too. But yeah, it's a good watch.
I was worried about my nostalgia as well coming into this, and I can say that it's actually even more intact than it was when I came in. I think this movie is awesome. I don't think it's, once again, echoing what Rachel said, I don't think it's an A+, I don't think it's 5 stars, but I think if you want just a good, solid, dumb action movie, you cannot go wrong watching this one.
Cool. Next one, and I think we've all kind of touched on this, is did you have a good time? Yeah, I had a good time with it.
Great time.
Yeah, really.
It's a fun movie.
It's
Great
a
time.
super fun movie. I mean, that's what you get when you shove all those tropes and execute them well.
Yeah, it's very paint by numbers, but it's fun. It's fun.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun just to sit down and watch.
Yeah.
And then the most important question, which I think I have an answer for based on the amount of times I have seen this movie on TV. But would you watch this again? And I would say yes. I think it has really good rewatchability. You can come in at any moment, I think, in this movie once you've seen it once. Or arguably, I feel like if you just walk in towards the second half of it, you don't need a lot of the first half to have a good time watching someone fuck up some robots.
Yeah, I'd watch it again. There was a summer, my brother had this on every single day.
He really likes to pick one and roll with it for a while.
If it's on, it's on. We watch it. That's how it goes. I was worried that having watched it one more time ago, that was the last time I watch iRobot. I'm done. No, I'd still watch it again. If it's on TV, I'll leave it on TV. And you're right, you can come in at any moment, and there's not a whole lot of setup that you need to finish the plot out. You're always going to come in on the scene where the house is being chewed apart and he rescues the cat. Doesn't matter where you are. When you turn it on, that is always the scene.
Always going to be the scene you come back to. 100%.
But yeah, I'd watch it again. Absolutely.
Yeah, I've watched it like who knows how many times at this point, just out of pure coincidence. But yeah.
I can tell you for sure how many times I've watched it all the way through. This is my 6th time watching this movie all the way through. Yeah. I'd be happy to watch it a 7th, and honestly, with how much fun I had this time, legitimately, I came into this expecting not to like this movie very much, because it had been so long since I've seen it.
I was expecting it to age really poorly, to be honest.
I would watch it another couple of times, I think. This is just... compared to Wild Wild West, where I was just like, the points that weren't ridiculous were just like, move the fuck on, please. I found myself actually just really loving this one. It's longer than the last movie we watched, and it felt shorter.
You know?
It's
well done.
That is a good thing about this movie. It is incredibly well paced.
Yeah. There's a lot of good here. Yeah. There's nothing groundbreaking. Yeah, but it's just good. It's it's a B-. No one's gonna argue that it's a B-. Or maybe even like a C+ or something, but
I'd give it a solid B. It's at least a solid B.
It's fine. It's just good.
For sci-fi action, it gives you plenty of sci-fi to scratch that itch, and it gives you plenty of action to keep it from going through a slow slog the way a lot of sci-fi suffers from.
Yep.
Where there's a whole lot of exposition or a whole lot of meaningful, thoughtful introspection about the meaningfulness of life, which they do in this, but they do it quickly and they keep moving on.
So I mean, and this isn't Blade Runner. You don't come into this movie thinking you're gonna get that.
No, I want more Sunny, but
yeah,
I'm happy with
I
the
would
Sunny I got.
Sunny's cool.
Can you imagine someone coming into this movie? It's like, if I'm not getting Blade Runner, I'm refunded. I'm not refunded.
All right, that was only an hour and 45 minutes, Chief. What do you think you're doing here? What kind of fly by night operation are you running here? All right, I've been Jake.
Yes, Jackson.
I've been Sam.
And Rachel.